For those of you tuning in, you were seeing a prop that we stopped, so Mike can go grab the prop.
I mean, this is kind of, I didn't know that something that was just getting started could already break.
It's oil specific, and people have pointed that out. Hey, you know, Apple makes 20 billion or more a year in California, whatever it is.
Oh, that is so legit, Mike.
I just got the notification that we're live on LinkedIn.
What do you think about that? We have a new overlay right here, which has, you know, the Energy Crew podcast, and we have the Californians for Energy and Science, kind of bringing kind of what we're doing more to the center stage of kind of everyone else.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure if I'm feeling this camera right now. I'll probably change it for tomorrow's episode, but it's fine for now. Hey, look, we're figuring this out as we go along, just like anything in life.
What's wrong? My Seau jersey is distracting you?
No, you being in my old room distracts me, man. I missed that.
San Diego losing by 2. San Diego, I can't even call them the LA Chargers. I love seeing them lose by 2 points yesterday to the Dolphins. You love to see it as a San Diegan. The traditional Charger choke job is on. It's still happening in Los Angeles. I love it.
So that's what I guess it's like being a okay. All right. Well, so look, hey, look, yeah, we got a new intro out there for everyone out there. We got a new. I don't know if I'm feeling this, Mike. I don't know if I can respond quick enough to the camera. It's like set up at a different angle.
No, you're looking good. I like that Technicolor microphone you got too. It's really
I know.
snazzy.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. It's like a unicorn microphone. It's cool.
So we got in late last night. My wife and I got in late last night from a wonderful time in San Diego, where went out there and kind of you hosted us. Wonderful time meeting the family. Wonderful time seeing the area, kind of meeting a lot of folks out there. And one of the most surprising things I got out there was that it just so many people were so friendly out there, and I guess I wasn't expecting that. I mean, there's like overwhelming, just like everyone's very just like welcoming and just very friendly, very talkative, very kind. So, man, we really appreciate that. And also one of the things that kind of came out from the trip out there was, the need to kind of have more of these discussions, the need to kind of have more energy facts chats, the need to kind of bring these situations, what's going on in the energy realm to kind of light. And I think, Mike, I think that you and I got good chemistry, man. I dig our vibe. I dig how we connect when it comes to energy. And so one of the things that we talked about was why not have a kind of try to do it every morning, try to go over the headlines, where you get the headlines, you get it from here. And look, one might not be 30 minutes. They might be 20, they might be 15, they might be 10 minutes if there's not a lot going on. But we're here this morning on September 11th.
Absolutely.
Right. It's a day. I remember where I was September 11th.
I do too. My dorm room, absolutely, at Pepperdine. It was just a surreal, unbelievable experience. And it's still tough to think about. I mean, even though I didn't have any family members over there or friends, it's just
it impacted everyone, whether you're living in New York or whether you're living across the states or even around the world. So so we're doing this. It's September 11th, and we have news to cover. Energy, as you know, you and I were texting last night. Got pretty late in the night. I sent you an article, and I was like, "Man, sorry for the late night energy text." He goes, "No worries."
I was tweeting.
He texts back. Goes, "Energy never sleeps." I'm tweeting.
Yeah.
As well. I don't know why I'm so red. It might be the cast from this, but I'm not worried about it. So,
did you get sunburned out here?
I did. I got sunburned.
You did?
I got only on the top of my feet. I got sunburned. I got my feet got eaten up. But hey, look, I don't think people care about that. I think people care more about what's happening in the energy space.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of dive into kind of what I saw, last night and also leading up to this morning. I tweeted a couple things. Number one, you saw at the
G20,
the G20 and all that stuff. You see, all these. It seems like all the pledges made by the 20 richest countries. First off, I'm very curious just how everything's going in this fast pace. And I want to get your feedback on this, Mike. In this fast paced environment we live in, it seems that energy independence and energy power is kind of taking the center stage with these other countries that aren't showing up to the G20 or the Paris Agreement or any of these, worldwide carbon conversations. It seems to me that no, they're investing not only in the greener tomorrow as marketed. They're doing the rare earth minerals, which aka mining. By the way, for those that think the rare earth minerals it's mining. You're moving a lot of earth. They're investing in that. They're investing in new coal plants. India actually increased their coal consumption, I think 4% last year. They're increasing in refineries. They're investing in energy, not just for today, but they're investing in energy for tomorrow. And so that kind of makes me look back. I see that, you see articles, kind of like subtly like shaming these other countries are not coming. And regardless on how you stand on that, we're kind of in an interesting situation where it's these countries that, quote, aren't showing up to the table for these 20 richest countries. I mean, how fast will things change? And do you think things will change fast where the richest 20 countries are no longer the richest 20 countries? They're the most dependent countries on that aren't showing up to the table.
Yeah, and and some are showing up and they're saying we don't care. China's an example. I think they were there and they said, "Oh, we're not going to get to net zero till at least 2060," and that's code for we don't care about 2050 and we don't care about 2060. We don't care about net zero. As we know, they're cranking out internal combustion engines with no plan to phase that down. You've got India who's hosting this thing that is buying Russian crude on the cheap because we put sanction on Russia due to this war. And India's I don't care. I'll buy this product.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, these sanctions that these slap on the wrist sanctions that that countries did put on Russia, let's say, how is that playing out? I mean, just a quick, quick sentence. How is that paying out?
We've read several articles over the past week saying, hey, this is helping to finance Russia's war.
Yeah.
OPEC plus Russia's cutting back 1.3 million barrels a day in oil produced through the end of the year, extending those cuts, and that's going to help prop up the price of oil. So even as we have sanctions, Russia's still making enough money to finance their war. And so they can pump all their profits into this terrible war, and the American taxpayer continues to get fleeced to prop up Ukraine, who has natural gas pipelines running through the country. Now those are shut off. It's really it doesn't look good. I think I even saw one of the U.S. commanders or military leaders said, hey, this is getting to the point where this is not going to be a winnable war for Ukraine. It's not working, basically. So yeah, I don't think these sanctions are working. I don't think there's Daryl. I love it. Daryl's on the feed.
Daryl's energy doesn't sleep when it comes to energy too.
That's right. Well, so no, I don't think it's working. And I think it's something that we need to highlight. People need to realize that the U.S. is not the world. We talk about, one atmosphere and all that. We're only 330 million people out of 9 billion. Granted, we're the world's largest economy, but just us getting to zero does very little, if anything, to impact how the global climate develops over the next several decades.
But you also look at this. You also look at this kind of like, okay, fine. At what cost are we getting to zero? At what cost? What does it really do? I mean, the cost to the families, to the consumers, I know is going to be tremendously through the roof if it's there. I mean, there's something like, we need $16 trillion for this green energy to get us to where we want to be. But that's like 4 times the entire world's GDP or something like that to even get there. So it's like everything on paper, everything on this, it's like at what cost? So anyway, so you got these countries that are not showing up saying, hey, look, I get what you're trying to do, and that's fine and all. We played it. I feel like there's kind of a push and a pull right now between these two, the BRICS nations and the Western world, where it's like, hey, look, it's great. We've been playing this game and all this stuff. But Saudi Arabia, I mean, they're coming straight out of the bat saying, hey, look, the Middle East will be the Europe in the next 5 to 10 years.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Good luck with that, Middle East.
I mean, you're saying, I get that. But I mean, look, they just started their mining of rare earth minerals. Okay. So they're going to corner the market on oil production, but also on rare earth minerals, along with China. I see that that being said, going over the headlines, I did see today that the U.S. did break ground on their first. Let me just kind of pull this up. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. All right. That was me. That wasn't actually sound.
Those are the sound effects? Okay.
Yeah, that was me. That was fun fact.
Okay.
All right. America's only cobalt and nickel refinery breaks ground. And this is September 11th, 2023 at 6:30 a.m. So we've made pledges.
We're breaking ground.
So we made pledges. Okay. We made pledges to electrify everything. We made pledges to go all in on these EVs, go in on rare earth minerals, go in on solar, which requires rare earth minerals. So everything pretty much that we're going all in on requires rare earth minerals, right?
Right.
We pledged, we committed, we subsidized, we put money towards it, and all this stuff. We've not only that, we've also we made it a lot easier for people to get behind that because we've also villainized the oil industry. So you can't go back. If you go back, you're regressing, and all that stuff. So it's towards the end of 2023, and we're just now breaking ground on the first rare earth mineral mining site in the U.S. Mike.
Yeah, well, let's zero in on that. And to your point on that article, yeah, we're breaking ground on cobalt and rare earth minerals. We're trying to extract lithium out of the Salton Sea. Well, go ahead. You got something?
No, I got one last thing I want to drop in on you. So yes, we are doing this. Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah! That's great. And also, first off, let's talk. I don't even know the timeline from mining it to kind of get into where it's at. But not like that. That's one step of this process. The refining piece of this,
right? Making the battery.
The next step, and that China holds 60 to 70% of the cobalt and the nickel refining thing. So, regardless if we're digging it up in our backyard, we're still relying on other countries that don't have environmental regulations that we do to process. So, Mike, sorry, I'm off my soapbox. You talk. Daryl's chiming in. Daryl, I love the conversations, but this is we're gonna be tangents all morning. Just for this year.
Got it.
Okay, perfect. Actually, that's a great point, Daryl.
So on this, I think yes, the United States is firing up some facilities to mine cobalt, to mine lithium out of brine, in and outside of oil and gas developments. I think those things are exciting to think about and to start talking about, but they're not here today. And so what that translates to for the consumer is higher prices on their vehicles, which is what we're seeing. Go try to look at a new vehicle right now. You're looking at a very expensive investment. But furthermore, on that point of the transition, one of the articles and on cobalt and mining from the Wall Street Journal News exclusive Middle East, U.S. Saudi Arabia in talks to secure metals for EVs. Partnership could boost U.S. in race with China for cobalt while jump-starting Saudi mining industry. So here's a couple of very important points on this topic. You've heard traditionally, as we talk about transitioning to EVs and transitioning to quote unquote renewable energy, that the environmental movement will say things such as, we need to get off oil. We need to get off OPEC. We need to get off fossil fuels. Well, what do we say about this? Why? Because this is very important. While jump-starting Saudi mining industry, Saudis do not have a metals mining industry today. Okay, they do not have one. And this paragraph buried in the middle of this article, it talks about the United States partnering with Saudi Arabia in places like the Congo for cobalt, in places, third world countries, other countries that have deposits of these minerals. This is a very important quote that everybody should be talking about, particularly this morning. Quote, Saudi Arabia would likely have more flexibility to invest in countries where corruption is rampant, insulating U.S. companies from that risk. The kingdom is also less bound by environmental, social, and governance concerns that crimp other investors' ability to deploy capital there. Translation, Saudis don't care about the environment. Saudis don't care about cutting off somebody's head. Saudis don't care about assassinating journalists from the Wall Street Journal, from the Washington Post, whoever. Saudis don't care. So Saudi Arabia in the Middle East is not going to become the next Europe, because I don't think broadly people want to visit a place where they could literally lose their head. Second to that, this whole notion of we need to get off fossil fuels and we need to take back the energy systems into more compliant hands and companies that actually follow the law. Yeah, we can do it in the United States. We're starting to see it happening. Everybody should be really pissed off about that Wall Street Journal article, because what that says is the US will invest in Saudi Arabia to do whatever the hell they want in the Congo to whoever they want in the Congo, children, slaves, all those people out there that we have no oversight. And it's exactly why I'm so vocal and talking about Californians for Energy and Science and buying 50 million barrels a year from Saudi Arabia into the California market, buying 50 million barrels a year from Iraq into the California market, while Sacramento talks about petroleum oversight committees and price gouging. Look, this stuff is plain to see, but the average person does not connect all of these dots. And that's my soapbox for this morning, is we are basically, it's going to, yes, to your point, it's going to take us forever to ramp it up in California, in the United States, to mine these minerals. We can't even build geothermal plants in Nevada because people want to do Burning Man in the sludge. They shut down geothermal expansion so they can go party in the mud. That's what's happening in the United States.
Well, it also sounds like a bunch of bullshit, because it sounds to me like, you have, the U.S. saying this and that, but literally not even behind closed doors, kind of going to someone else. It's kind of you're paying someone to do something for you. You know what I mean? You're outsourcing everything. Hey, my image, as a U.S., my image, we got to do this stuff. However, you can do this for me. So can you invest in this for me? Can you do this on behalf of me? That's bogus. That's bullshit.
It is. It is. And why wouldn't we say, instead of jump starting a Saudi mining industry, why wouldn't we say, U.S. companies, we will help you set up in the Congo. We will help you set up your operations out there, so long as you comply with United States laws, so long as you pay people, so long as you don't employ child slaves, so long as you develop those assets just as you would in the middle of Texas, the middle of California, the middle of our country. We will help you set that up. Why would we have the Wall Street Journal reporting, hey, we're going to jumpstart the Saudis so that they can rape and pillage these other countries, and we can just buy the minerals. They'll just be our middleman. It's like,
well, not only
what's going on?
You had that layer too. You also had the layer of the fact that, look, if they're going to cut output, they're going to restrict rare earth minerals imports to the U.S. and all that stuff. The next thing you know, then they control the market, they control the price. It just squeezes people more when it comes to sort of living in the U.S.
Well, and where's Earth Justice? Where's Center for Biologic Diversity? Where's the Sierra Club? Where's Greenpeace? Where are these organizations that will shut everything down in the United States, but then do they read the paper? I would imagine they can read. They really are great at filing lawsuits to stop everybody else from developing projects here in the United States. Why are they not? Why are us energy geeks calling this out? Why is this not mainstream news, as we hear every day about this energy transition and every day about protecting the environment and protecting people? I haven't heard anybody. That was just an article that just flew by. I haven't seen anybody highlight that.
Yeah, but so at the end of the day, again, these conversations, number one, is it about the environment? Number one, it help out everyday consumers when it comes to, filling up your car or cooling your house down? Probably not. We're kind of giving the keys away to our kingdom to
help that kingdom, help a really messed up kingdom. So let's switch to another article before I just lose.
All right, you keep doing that. Are you going to get the article queued up?
So this is California weighs mandate on business emissions disclosure. This is Wall Street Journal today.
Okay.
So what this says is California could be the first in the nation. And I love being the first. We're always the first. We're the first in the nation to look at the proposal which would apply to both public and private companies with 1 billion or more in annual revenue, is one of hundreds the Democratic-controlled legislature must decide on before Friday. And what this means, California would force large corporations that do business in the state to disclose all greenhouse gas emissions associated with their operations under a bill being considered by the legislature. So what that means, scope 1, what you use to make your product. Scope 2, what you use in the operations of your company. And potentially scope 3, what your impact is once you sell that product. Scope 3 is tracking the emissions from the cars burning your gasoline, as an example. California is going to mandate that any business with over $1 billion in revenue reports their greenhouse gas emissions. I'm kind of
this.
Yes, Apple. Yes, but importantly, does it include foreign emissions? I don't know. We'd have to look at it, because I don't see in this article emissions overseas. So while you have Apple with Palo Alto presence in California, I don't know if that's going to cover their Chinese manufacturing with coal-fired power. I do not know that, and I don't know that the legislature knows that.
I'll tell you what. We'll know that either number one, it's either decided, or we're going to find that out whenever it doesn't squeeze or it doesn't fit into the shape they want it to fit into.
Well, and California can. I've talked about this a lot. We can only regulate what's within our border, right? We can't go over to China and tell Apple and Xi Jinping, hey, we're cracking down over here. You're using too much coal. It doesn't have. We can't go to Saudi Arabia and tell them to stop killing people. It's not going to happen. But this will impact 5,300 businesses in California and more than 3,900 private companies. So that's going to impact a lot of companies. And when I read that, that looks like inflation. That looks like added cost of doing business in the state of California. Even if you're just reporting the emissions, it's going to.
What's funny is, you know, all your articles you post and all that stuff, a lot come from like the state, the government of California and all that stuff. And it's so interesting to see the disconnect between the people. And honestly, I experienced this when I was out there. It's so interesting to see the disconnect between what the governing bodies are doing versus what the people want. I mean, whether we're walking around the zoo and I'm over here and some guy talk about kind of like, the politicians.
Or I remember that guy at the zoo.
Yeah,
he was not happy with President Biden.
But there's such a disconnect between what's needed versus what's wanted.
Right.
Does that make sense? Right. I mean, there's such a huge disconnect with all that.
It ties into the boomerang. That's what's going to drive this, is that disconnect.
Well, you talk about the boomerang, man. I saw an article yesterday, and this is exactly what we're talking about. Whenever you read, whenever you see articles on the line, on the internet, as we say, read them. Go dive in a little bit more. I saw an article yesterday that, and this is honestly something I don't want to be real with you. No, so I want to bring up, like, first off, offshore wind is here, but who's really getting the work? I mean, now there's talks about, work going outside the U.S. jobs. Anyway, this is the headline. Scientists discover unexpected pathway to batteries with high energy, low cost, and long life. Man, I'm hearing that. And I'm outside the energy realm, Mike. I'm like, okay, awesome. This is great. We're good.
Right around the corner.
We're set. So I'm just going to keep on supporting this money going in these, new technology. I'm going to keep on supporting this. However, the further you read into it, it says this: the chemists at the science and engineering division, our team's efforts could bring the U.S. one large step closer to a greener, more so. Even that's a could. That's a should. That's a might. So again, you read these articles, you need to really kind of like start looking at like the could, would, and should, and kind of see, like read between the lines and actually read the lines.
And I think that holds true for a lot of technologies. I've been spending a lot of time developing our geothermal project, and there's several different technologies attacking geothermal, but it's Same thing. It takes a long time to develop a project, and people might read an article or a headline like that and think, oh, we're just a couple of months away from a breakthrough that's going to save the world. And that's not the case. The oil and gas industry, as an example, has been developed over the past 150 plus years, and we're just now seeing articles like this where U.S. drillers today are targeting 25,000 foot wells. What is that? Well, we're digging 5 miles down and over to extract that resource. So yeah, every industry is claiming technological advances, but what is helping people today? And that's it's hard for folks to just breeze through the headlines and bridge the gap of engineering possibilities versus realities.
Good thing you have energy facts chats out there. Good thing you got 2 dudes talking energy nonstop. All right, let's wrap this up. Let's take it to the
wrap it up.
Daryl
must have something else.
Daryl has something. Rare earth mineral refining capacities, along with other metals, are in China. That is correct.
Yes.
Look up Bow Lake. Okay, well, let's look up Bow Lake. All right, so let's share this.
He's got all kinds of goodies. Is Daryl the only one listening to us every day?
Deny, bro. All right, hold on a second. All right.
Oh, you want to look this up live?
Yeah, I've already looked up, bro.
You better be a speed reader.
You've got it. I don't have to speed read it.
See, that's the next phase. We got to be pulling up these headlines in case anybody's watching.
Look, hey, listen. We're learning. Hidden and
learning on the fly.
An unknown Inner Mongolia is a toxic, nightmarish lake created by a thirst for smartphones and green tech. Look at that.
Oh yeah, I've seen articles about this. Yeah, I mean, when you've got liquid waste, that's something that's common in the oil and gas industry, and I think that's something that people miss a lot in battery manufacturing. Is you don't just bring in all the minerals and shoot out a battery and nothing else. You spit out batteries, and then there's this waste stream that doesn't get publicized.
And that's an
example of
and there's also the recycling part of it too that we're not going to talk about today. But that's also another huge resource step too as well. Daryl says Belt to Road initiative by China aligns with BRICS. The Saudis just joined BRICS, solidifying commodities in BRICS. So at the end of the day, we can sit here and say, no, when from a high mountain, the NIMBY mentality, oh, you should do this, you should do that, and all that stuff. At the end of the day, the world is going to be moving forward. Things are going to get a little bit more expensive for the everyday families in America through poor energy policies, non-realistic energy policies. I mean, the fact that we have energy policies aligning for this 2050 goal or 2035 goal, whatever goal it is, and we're just breaking ground today on mining rare earth minerals in the States, and that doesn't even include the refining side of it, is just very, shows you the non-pragmatic approach we're having. We have Amy tuning in that says, as someone who's outside the industry, first off, Amy,
I love this.
Yeah, Amy and I met through she rocks. She's an entrepreneur, has her own company, laser engraving. I met her through David Gibson, and I'm actually incorporating her, be using some of her products and services for Exec Crew, which I'm pumped about. But she's awesome, and so she says, and thank you for tuning in, Amy, by the way. As someone who's outside your industry, it's nice having guys like you decipher articles so we know the real impacts. Good work, y'all. Hi, JP. Hi, Amy. That's great. Yeah, she's awesome. But if you're looking for anything to get done, even for California and in science, I'll connect you, Mike. Once we get funded, how about that? All right, lithium refining takes about 50.
Daryl's rolling, baby.
Daryl is in that. Yeah, Daryl's like us in about 3 years, so I dig that. So that's all I have. Mike, what do you have?
Again, the fact that we're helping Saudi Arabia jumpstart anything is a travesty, and that's a bipartisan issue. I don't want to help Saudi Arabia's corrupt, evil, petrostate dictator MBS with any of his future plans, although he thinks he's going to be the next Europe. He's not. We need to start helping the American people, and that goes across party lines. We need to make sure that energy is affordable, it's reliable, and it's available to our people. I don't give a crap about Saudi Arabia and MBS. See you tomorrow.
For those of you tuning in, you were seeing a prop that we stopped so Mike could go grab the prop.
I mean, this is kind of, I didn't know that something that was just getting started could already break.
It's oil specific, and people have pointed that out. Hey,